Hello and welcome to Module 8 of Estate and Probates Management. In this module, we shall be looking at intestacy, that is no will scenario, and property sharing, that is when somebody died without a will. Understanding estate administration when there is no will. The module content here include legal framework governing intestacy, succession in Nigeria, scenario-based distribution, that is spouse, children, polygamy family, and extended family cases. Then letter of administration, step-by-step procedure. Then we'll also look at customary, statutory, and Islamic distribution comparison. We'll further look at tax and debt settlement in intestacy and resolving dispute in intestate estate before we draw our conclusion. Let us begin with the introduction. What is intestacy? That is dying without a valid will. When a person died without a valid will, their estate is governed by intestacy law. The deceased wishes are unknown, so statutory, customary, or religious law determines the distribution of their estate. The key challenge here is that no appointed executor. Therefore, the court must appoint an administrator. Why this matter? A significant number of estates in Nigeria falls under intestacy succession. Professionals must understand these rules to ensure fair and legal administration. Now let us look at Nigerian plural legal system. Which law apply? The applicable law depend on the deceased personal circumstances. The legal system, number one is statutory law. It applies under marriage. It's applied in marriage under the Act, that is registered marriage. The governing factor is that administration of estate law, that is state specific. Then we have customary law, that the application is marriage under native law and custom. The governing factor include tradition of the deceased ethnic group. Then we have the Islamic law, that is Sharia. The application is disease. It applies to a disease that is a Muslim, that is the disease was a Muslim. Then the governing factor is that Quranic principles of inheritance, that is Faradi. Now let us look at statutory framework, that is the administration of estate law. The primary guide for statutory intestacy. The administration of estate law applicable in each state provide the legal procedure for managing and distributing an intestacy estate. It establishes the order of priority among family members entitled to inherit. It outlines the process for appointing administrator via letter of administration. The probate registry of the High Court supervises the entire process. Having known that, let us look at the scenario-based distribution. 1. When somebody died and it is survived by a spouse and children, the goal is to protect the immediate family. General statutory rule. The supervising spouse is entitled to personal charter, that is personal belonging, and a fixed share of the estate, often 1/3 of the whole funeral. So the children share the remaining 2/3 of the estate equally. So the exact distribution can vary slightly based on specific state law. Let us look at scenario-based distribution too in a polygamous family and extended family cases. Polygamous family, under customary law, assets are often split per strips, that is by the mother and household. So it is shared by the mothers. Then the estate is divided among the wife's branches, then shared among the children in each branch. This can be a source of dispute. Then in the extended family cases, if there is no spouse or child, the estate goes to the parents. If no parents, then to the siblings of the full blood. Then if no relatives are found, the estate revert to the government, that is bona vacantia. Having known that, let us look at letter of administration, step-by-step guide. The legal authority to administer, that is, a letter of administration is the legal authority to administer an estate. So when there is no will, the court appoint an administrator via letter of administration, LOA. Now the step-by-step procedure are: 1. Application. The next of kin applies to the probate registrar. Then documentation, he will submit the death certificate, asset inventory, IDs, and administrative bond. Then verification. A 21-day public notice is published to allow for objection, and the applicant and surety are interviewed. Then valuation and fees. At this stage, the assets are valued and probate fees are being paid. Example: 10% of the gross value of the estate are paid as the fee. Then issuance. The court will now grant the letter of administration, empowering the administrator to manage the estate. Now let us look at comparison of inheritance system. That is a visual guide. The future, we shall be looking at the future of statutory registrar, customary and Islamic law. Then the primary here is that primary heads in the statutory registrar are the spouse and the children. Then in the customary law, it is children and brother. Then in Islamic law, it is specific Quranic heads. Then gender equality, it is shared equally, equal share for all. So under statutory register, it is shared equally among all the beneficiaries. But in customary law, it varies. It can favor some male. Then in Islamic law, the gender equality is that fixed shares, example, the son got twice to what the daughter will receive. Then administrative authority, the statutory registrar, the High Court, it is granted by the letter of administration. Under the customary law, the statutory authority is granted by the family head or elder, but in Islamic law, it is granted by the Sharia court. Now, the key characteristics of statutory registrar is that it is legal equality and structure. Then the customary law is that it is cultural tradition, whereas in Islamic, the key characteristic is that it is religiously prescribed and it is entitled to a fixed share. Let us move further as we look at tax and debt settlement, that is settling obligation before distribution. Before beneficiary receive anything, all debt and tax must be paid. So debt settlements involve identify all the creditors like bank, hospital, and utility bill, pay funeral expenses, administrative costs, and debt in order of priority. Now publish notice to invite claims from creditors. Then tax consideration, settle any outstanding personal income tax of the deceased person. Then pay applicable capital gain tax if assets are sold. Then pay stamp duties on legal documentation. So these are tax considerations in real estate and probate management. Let us look at resolving dispute in intestate estate. Common causes of conflict include: disputes are common because the deceased left no instruction. So disagreement may arise over who should be the administrator. Conflict may arise between the spouse and the extended family members. Dispute may arise between different houses in polygamous family. Allegation of mismanagement or lack of transparency by the administrator may also result to dispute. Right? Divergent interpretation of customary law may also result to dispute. Now, pathway to a resolution: 1. Negotiation. In this method, family members discuss and compromise directly. Then we have number 2 method, which is mediation. A neutral third party may be involved to facilitate a mutual acceptable agreement. Then we have another method known as arbitration. Here, an independent arbitrator makes a binding decision. We have litigation, which involves the matter is taken to court, to the High Court, for a final ruling. The key tools include CAVIT, a legal notice to stop the grant of letter of administration to an unqualified person. Family settlement deed, a legal contract where the family agree on sharing formula differently, sharing formula different from the strict letter of the law to maintain peace. Having known that, let us look at the administrator's crucial role. That is the administrator's role, the guardians of the estate. So the administrator is the guardians of the estate. The administrator is responsible for ensuring a smooth and lawful process. Their duties include: 1. Identifying and collecting all estate assets. 2. Settling all debts and taxes before distribution of the estate. 3. Maintaining transparency with all beneficiaries. 4. Keeping accurate financial records of all transactions. Then 5. Distributing the remaining assets directly according to the applicable inheritance law. Proper administration minimize dispute and protect the administrator from personal liability. In conclusion, the takeaway notes here include: navigating intestacy successfully. The intestacy is governed by a plural legal system, that is the statutory law, statutory registrar, customary law, and Islamic law. The distribution on the disease, family structure, and types of marriage. So the distribution is depend on the disease, family structure, and the type of marriage. Letter of administration are essential for granting legal authority to manage the estate. Debt and taxes must be settled before any distribution to the beneficiary. Effective communication and dispute resolution are key to preserving family harmony. Final thought: professionals must understand this complexity to ensure estates are administered fairly, legally, and efficiently. Thank you and have a nice day.